When you choose to ride motorcycles, there's an unfortunate byproduct where you happen to run into cops more frequently than the average person. This is a fact that I grew up with knowing pretty normally. A big thing that helped me get into motorcycles in the first place, so those like Moto Madness style videos. You have these bikers that do something crazy, they get pulled over, they have these crazy police interactions. It's kind of fun. It's kind of become like a normal part of motorcycle riding to me, personally. It's not really a scary part anymore. I still do get a little bit nervous whenever I get pulled over. It still is a weird interaction that you kind of get pulled out of reality for a little bit. You have to unfortunately face a police officer, face the consequences of whatever you did. Some people choose to run, I don't. And you kind of just get your ticket and you move on with your day. About 2 or 3 months ago, I posted this video.
Those don't look like warnings.
No, they're not warnings. You were going really fast.
I understand.
Titled, Accept Your Consequences. This video came shortly after a content creator known as Dancing Moto, after he got hit off his bike by a county sheriff down in Georgia, I believe. This video basically served as a response to that, to show young bikers what to do if you have police lights behind you, what you should do. Basically, pull over and accept your consequences. However, what I did not expect is for this pullover to have some insane ramifications that I am now currently dealing with in the background. And finally, the court case just got settled, so I feel like I can actually talk about it now. So sit back, and I got a little story to tell. Unfortunately, I do apologize. I'm a little sick right now. I was not even planning on making this video. As you can tell, my voice is a little shot. I'm also home in Ohio right now. Right now, my V4 and my 765 are still out in California along with my truck. I flew home again to see my girlfriend because I missed Eve very much. So I basically paid $1,000 to come home again, basically to get sick on the flight and be homesick again. $1,000 very well spent. So this traffic stop happened way back in, I believe, October. I don't remember the exact day. It's not really a traffic stop that stood out in my memory. But what did stick out to me is, unfortunately, it was a traffic stop for speeding. This happened in Peninsula, Ohio, which I'll put up a map of what that looks like. Fun little fact. I know I get viewers from all over the country, but Ohio, specifically in the Midwest, Ohio is very unique in the fact that a lot of these very small cities and villages, including Peninsula, have their own police departments that usually don't have enough funding to keep themselves going by themselves. Usually what they have to rely on, and I've talked about this in previous videos, is they have to get a certain number of traffic tickets in order to help fund the police department for that year, or to help them fund bonuses or like fix their police cars, things like that. And historically what happens is when these police departments cannot keep up with such a demand is they usually disband and join a different city. Like Parma has been a city that's been swallowing up a lot of these smaller municipalities around Cleveland. These cities don't want to do that, and so they want to remain independent. Unfortunately, Peninsula is one of those cities. They are very ticket happy historically, if you look at other people around the area. In fact, these guys have signs up around Peninsula saying traffic laws photo enforced. Now, this city does not have any traffic cameras as far as I know. What they will actually do is they'll just park their police cars and take pictures of people's plates as they drive by. Like the police officer will sit there with a camera. If they basically catch you speeding, it's basically to simplify the process as much as possible. Instead of pulling you over specifically, giving you the feedback that you did something wrong, you sign a ticket, whatever, they'll just mail you the ticket in the mail and collect your money that way through like a civil offense. I can only assume that's what this police officer was doing. However, on this fateful day, I did not have a license plate on my 765. Now, the point of this video is not to defend any of the actions that I did in the video. I don't want to defend it. I was speeding. I was being stupid, having fun, did not have a license plate, probably deserved the ticket. Well, I'm not going to try to walk back the original video. However, for context, the road that we were speeding on is a 2-lane road. There's no pull-off points. There's no places for people to pull out in. The road that we were speeding on is quite literally named Quick Road. You can look it up on Google Maps. It is literally called Quick Road. It's a very windy, twisty, turvy area near the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. It's an area where a lot of people go speeding. There's actually a motorcycle dealership called State 8 that's located right next to it. It's an area where a lot of people like to speed. Trying to get through this. So when me and my friend had lights and sirens behind us, we of course pulled over immediately, as you should. Got the whole interaction on video. It's up on YouTube. Got like 100,000 views on YouTube, which hurrah, helps me out. Appreciate you guys watching and hitting the like button, helps me. We were handed speeding tickets and we went on our merry day, ended up getting pulled over again that same day and got another ticket, but that's a story for another time. So usually when you get a speeding ticket, you never want to admit fault to anything, which in the video, as you can see, you never admit to any kind of speeding. The police officer says that he got a radar lock on us. Again, that's very doubtful, especially when you have motorcycles in a state like Ohio, like a northern state. Usually these radars aren't calibrated for motorcycles. 9 times out of 10, if a cop says he got a radar lock on you on a motorcycle, usually they don't, which is usually why they try to get you to admit to some level of speed and like, oh, I was going too fast or something like that, which is why the cop kind of gives us this whole spiel. Now, I actually can't even talk bad about the officer's action. I thought he was pretty chill. I don't have anything bad to say about this officer's job. I mean, like, by the definition of the law, we were technically being bad guys. But the issue with this story comes after what happened. So generally, whenever I get a ticket, even if it's like a plate ticket or something like that, I usually contact my lawyer that I'm pretty familiar with by this point. I grew up watching YouTube channels like VinWiki that describe pretty vehemently that generally speeding tickets are just like a revenue generating source for cities. And generally, if you get a lawyer, you pay a little bit more into the system, they kind of let you go with just a slap on the wrist, a warning or something like that. That has generally been my experience with most police stations and areas. And so I recommended that my friend do the exact same thing. He got the exact same lawyer that I get, and despite the fact he has a little bit of a worse record, there was no problem. This city, actually in particular, has a program that if you don't have more than 2 speeding tickets, 2 convicted speeding tickets, you can apply to an education program where you take it's like a 1-day class or something like that. It's like an online class that you basically take this online course and they will just waive the ticket. You still have to pay the fine, you still have to pay the same amount of money, but you don't have anything on your record, which is basically what you're trying to avoid anyway. So the city still gets their money and you get to walk away scot-free. So my lawyer informed me of this. I'm like, okay, great. Let's apply to that as soon as possible. I get my information out there. I don't have more than 2 speeding tickets on my record, at least back then. I don't think I had any speeding tickets on my record at that point. Anytime I ever got caught for something, always got it walked down to something different. Had no speeding tickets on my record. So I'm thinking, okay, great. We don't have to go to court. I don't have to be bothered by any of this. It's just I go to take a class. No big deal. No harm, no foul. So about a day before my original court date, I get a call from the municipal court. They informed me that I was not eligible for the class. Now, this is where my lawyer also gets confused because based off of the requirements that they have for this class, I fit those requirements. I did not have any speeding tickets on my record. I was eligible for the class. It wasn't over the certain limit that, like, if you were going like 100 miles an hour and a 35, they wouldn't let you take the class, but I was within that limit. There was no discernible, they didn't give me a reason why I wasn't eligible for the class. Now, my friend, unfortunately, did not apply to this class. He took too long, and so he was not able to get his name in there. So, unfortunately, both me and my friend, who got identical speeding tickets, were set to go to court on the same day. Lucky for my lawyer, because they don't have to go to 2 separate courts, they get to get paid twice for what is essentially 1 day of work for them. So my lawyer puts in a letter which basically extends the court date until some day in December. I knew I wasn't gonna be in Ohio during this time, so I kind of let my lawyer know, like, hey, I can't show up to court, make sure like I don't have to be there. My lawyer's like, okay, got it. I pay my lawyer like $450. They're gonna take care of all this work. It's annoying that we have to go to court now, but it is what it is. If you can't pay the fine, don't do the crime. I'm not mad about that. I wanna make that absolutely clear. This next part though, is where it's a little bit weird. You see, I mentioned my friend has a slightly worse speeding record than I do. It's a reckless charge, I believe. You know, he's gotten caught in cars doing much worse than things on bikes. My record at the time, squeaky clean, nothing on it, other than a couple of plate tickets, which those don't usually show up on your driving record anyway. You know, here we're going to court. Generally, the lawyer goes in the courtroom and is like, hey, was the radar gun calibrated that day? You know, how did you estimate the speed? Are you sure you got the exact speed? They basically tear the cop apart into basically like, you don't have anything. Again, you're paying basically more money to the court system to fight the ticket. So the city gets their money, but you're just basically trying to get out of the points or getting the guilty plea. So again, basically the city is getting their money without you entering a guilty plea and you're actually getting points on your license. That's the whole point of this. So funny enough, my friend was completely allowed to get out of the ticket. He got it talked down to, I think it was like a brake light charge or something like that. Something ridiculous. It was like a license plate ticket. He got talked down to a non-moving violation, 0 points on his license, no problem, no harm, no foul. In my experience, that is generally what happens pretty much every time. However, in my case, the prosecutor was not letting it go. So the rest of this is basically based off of what my lawyer was telling me happened. They called me when I was out in California to basically let me know exactly what happened in the courtroom because I was not present for that. I was out in California. They essentially entered a not guilty plea to try to get out of this speeding ticket, to try to get the points talked down to a non-moving violation, so I'd still pay the fine, but I wouldn't get the points. They basically, when they went to court, because we chose to go to court, they added charges. I'm not really sure the correct terminology in order to say this, but basically, because we chose to fight the ticket in court, the prosecutor, which I don't think is named here, they tried adding a reckless driving charge in court because we chose to fight this in court. I don't mean to sound like a total chotch when saying this. I didn't think that was legal, and I don't think it's listed here on the court document, but basically they were trying to take my license for a 2-point speeding ticket with 0 points on my license. Just because on a road in the middle of essentially nowhere with no cars on it, no traffic, for seemingly no reason. I mean, again, I'm not trying to make the case that like speeding is a victimless crime. Sure, like if you in court want to fight a ticket and tell someone that, like, if the prosecutor wants to fight and basically stick those 2 points to me, I feel like that's one thing. But for us to choose to go to court and try to enter a not guilty plea, and then after that fact, because we chose to fight it with not guilty, adding charges after that fact, I feel not good about. That doesn't feel right to me. If we went to court and we just entered not guilty and they just tried fighting for those 2 points and I ended up having to pay those 2 points, I would feel a lot better than now we went to court, and because we went to court, they added charges that we then had to fight those charges on top of the original 2 points. That doesn't feel right to me. I don't feel good about that. I don't feel even neutral about it. I feel bad about that. And what if in this case, it was a case where it was like, I didn't deserve this ticket, and just because I chose to fight it, they're adding charges to this ticket? That would be completely wrong. I mean, in this case, yeah, I did deserve the original speeding ticket, but why are they adding charges after the fact? Just because I pled not guilty. Meanwhile, my friend who was in the exact same traffic stop got a ticket, the same exact ticket as me, on a motorcycle, the exact same thing, actually while he was riding my motorcycle, with a temporary motorcycle permit and a worse driving record, somehow managed to get out of his ticket, but then they're trying to stick it to me. See, now I think I'm starting to figure out, I think, what happened. Me and my lawyer, this is all public information, by the way, you can look this up. What me and my lawyer think happened is because I post these traffic stops online. You know, these small cities, they're clinging to power in whatever way that they can. You know, the last thing these people in power want to have happen is at a city council meeting, they bring up my video that has 100,000 views on YouTube, most likely been seen by people in the local area, and being like, hey, why was this guy let off with a warning? Or why was this guy let off with a not guilty plea with 0 points? And then that person who's in power gets voted out of power because of something ridiculous like that, because the city is only like 1,000 residents or something like that. Probably even less than that. Most likely, again, we'll never know for sure. But because I share my life online and posted a traffic stop to the internet is most likely the reason why I was not let off with a warning or non-moving violation, and that they were trying to take my license, which is kind of crazy. I mean, you guys know me. I'm not someone who comes online and tries to glorify reckless activity. In fact, I feel like I'm kind of the opposite, where I make an effort to go out of my way to try to make motorcycling a safer hobby, or to be looked at as a safer hobby in general. It just doesn't, maybe I'm gonna be proven wrong in the comments here, but it just doesn't feel right that I was kind of seemingly targeted. You know, the courts are kind of going after me and my driver's license all over a 2-point speeding ticket just because I posted this traffic stop online. I don't think that sets a good example. I don't think it's, I can't even insult the policing. I think the policing was fine. Again, I don't think the prosecutor is listed here. It doesn't make me feel right. I feel like a good, effective judicial system should at least make me feel like I was treated fairly. If they wanted me to enter a non-guilty and then fight for those 2-point speeding ticket, if it really got to a point where it's like I had to pay that fine, pay that for that ticket, if my lawyer truly couldn't fight me out of this ticket, I feel like I would feel fine. I wouldn't be making this video. If it was just for the original crime that was committed, if I was gone after for that, that would be fine. But the fact that I was trying to be given a reckless driving charge, and I was trying to have my license taken away from me for one speeding ticket on my record, that feels a little unfair. Now, at the end of the day, there's worse things happening in this world, and it's not really that big of a deal. I paid my fine, it was like $300. And my point is, I'm not trying to come on here and defend speeding. I still think speeding's stupid, you shouldn't do it. I'm not trying to switch my opinion on that at all. But when I feel like I've been wronged in the world a little bit, I don't feel like just ignoring it. And perhaps feel free to disagree with me in the comments. But I don't feel like in this case, I was treated fairly. Because of what I basically do for a living, because of my entertainment to you, I was treated unfairly based off of my friend who got the same exact identical ticket. And that, my friends, is the consequences of posting yourself online. Hate to call it what it is. Well, my friends, I appreciate you guys listening to me while my voice is destroyed. I go back to California tomorrow, so hopefully I'll feel better in the morning. I'm already starting to feel a little bit stronger, so hopefully we can be back and riding motorcycles in the next episode. With all that being said, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.